Hello everyone, this is teacher Sara from phuketpals. Welcome to yet another GED RLA screencast. The topic of this lesson is clauses. If you find this video useful, please hit the subscribe button below. It helps us help more people like you. Let's dive right in with a vocabulary refresher. A clause is a group of words containing a subject and a verb. Independent clauses can stand alone. They can also be combined with other clauses to make longer sentences. For example, I have a headache. Dependent clauses. Some clauses have no meaning by themselves. They depend on another word or another word group for their meaning and therefore are called dependent clauses. For example, whenever I drink milk. So, as you can see, there's a major difference between the two of them, and they have a lot of similarities as well. So this may look like a complete sentence, but it begs to ask the question, what happens whenever I drink milk? Do I get diarrhea? Do I get a stomachache? Does it make my skin nice and soft? Or whatever. What happens whenever I drink milk? It asks a lot of questions. It doesn't give you a complete idea of what's going on in comparison to when you say I have a headache. Although this will make you ask follow-up questions such as what caused your headache? Why do you have a headache? How does it hurt a lot? Have you taken medicines for your headache? But it doesn't exactly make you want to know more about the headache and what the person meant about I have a headache compared to when you say whenever I drink milk. So, for example, when the lions entered the circus ring, it makes you want to know, okay, what happens? What happened when the lions entered the circus ring? In comparison to when you say the crowd roared with excitement when the lions entered the circus ring. So a dependent clause is basically a sentence fragment. It's one way to correct this kind of fragment is to attach the dependent clause to an independent clause. So when you say the crowd roared with excitement, this makes it an independent clause, because when you say the crowd roared with excitement, it already says a lot. We might not know why exactly the crowd roared with excitement, but imagine if we only had this part of the sentence or this part of the sentence, then it would be rather confusing because we don't exactly know what happened when the lions entered the circus ring. Another way is to eliminate the word that makes the clause dependent. So let's go back to that. If we remove the word when, let's take that away. The lions entered the circus ring. That completes it, fixes it 100%, because now it's not dependent on being explained by another clause. That's a bad circle. By another clause like this one that we have right here. Alright. Here are some of the words that often begin a dependent clause. After, although, as, because, before, until, when, whenever, where, wherever, even though, if, since, though, and unless. And here are some examples that I've made using some of the words that we saw just now. Because I was sleeping, I wasn't able to answer the interviewer when he called. Let's fix that. Just a typographical error. Alright. Interviewer when he called. And before I go to bed, I brush my teeth and wash my face. Another example is, whenever I see a piece of straw, I imagine a turtle that could end up with a straw stuck up its nose. Last example is, although the issue was not discussed, it was far from out of her mind. Alright, so this sentences don't necessarily have to be this way. This is just one way of saying that. Actually, if, let's say I circle this and move this to the end of the sentence, it still makes 100% sense. So, if you remember from English classes, teachers always say never start a sentence with the word because. This is the only way that you can start a sentence with the word because you turn it into a dependent clause and put a comma there and then basically just twist the sentence. Instead of this being here, as in, I wasn't able to answer the interviewer when he called because I was sleeping. That's another way to do it, and then you won't need a comma there anymore because this because would be here, and the reason why I wasn't able to answer the interviewer when he called, I was sleeping. Same goes here. I brush my teeth and wash my face before I go to bed, and there's no need for this, and absolutely no need for the capital B, the same way here. Again, you can do that here. I imagine a turtle that could end up with a straw stuck up its nose whenever I see a piece of straw. Again here, it was far from out of her mind, although the issue was not discussed. Here's a couple of questions for you to practice with. Okay. While she prepares to become an American citizen, Kimiko attends a class once a week. In the class, students from all over the world studying U.S. government. Kimiko will be ready to pass the naturalization examination after completing the class. It will be a proud day for her and the others when they receive their U.S. citizenship. Sentences 1 and 2. While she prepares to become an American citizen, Kimiko attends a class once a week. Which of the following is the best way to rewrite the underlined portions of these sentences? If you think the original is the best way, select choice 1. Give you a couple of seconds there to figure out your answer. Okay, if your answer is number 1, then you are correct. There is no need to separate these two sentences, especially because you start the sentence with while, and as we discussed earlier, this makes a sentence, a clause become a dependent clause. So this clause needs this to be able to make sense. While she prepares to become an American citizen doesn't make sense, so you need a comma in here to make this explain this. Kimiko attends a class once a week. I hope that makes sense. Let's see number 3. Sentence 5. Kimiko will be ready to pass the naturalization examination after completing the class. If you rewrote sentence 5 beginning with after she completes the class, the next word should be okay. The answer would be number 4. My bad. The answer would be number 3. I'm looking at the wrong question. I meant this one, actually. But okay. The answer would be number 3. So, after she completes the class, Kimiko will be ready to pass the naturalization examination. Remember what I talked about earlier? So let's encircle that and say I'm right to earlier. Yep. Let's answer that and this one, and now it makes sense. So we can take this part of the sentence and put it before. After she completes the class, Kimiko will be ready to pass the naturalization examination. Sentences 3 and 4 in the class, students from all over the world studying U.S. government. Which of the following is the best way to rewrite the underlined portion of these sentences? If you think the original is the best way, select choice 1. Give you a few seconds there, although I gave you the answer earlier. In the class, students from all over the world studying U.S. government. If your answer is number 4, then you are correct. Again, we need to make this into a dependent clause. In the class, students from all over the world are studying U.S. government. And now they rely on each other to make sense because they actually both don't make sense at all. They're both two dependent clauses. Here, this is a fragment sentence and it doesn't tell us who is studying the U.S. government. And here, in the class, students from all over the world, we don't know what happened to the students in the class who from all over the world. And that's about it. Thank you for joining me again here today with another GED RLA screencast. Thank you for watching. That's all from me, teacher Sara from phuketpals. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and hit thumbs up if you find this video useful. Have a good day.